Alright, hi everybody, it's Bonk932. For some reason the video wasn't working before. Alright, Fairy Tail 254 review. Well, this one started off, it was a time skip, there's no question. The name of the chapter was called Year 741, I believe. I might be wrong there, but that's what it was called. Basically, we get it start off with, we find out who the little kid was. It's not Natsu. It's Romeo. The kid, Romeo, the kid who was, his father was Makio. Makio. That's his name, Makio. Well, he's with Bisca and her partner, and they're looking at the sea, and he's obviously, and Bisca wants to say something, but her partner says, no, don't say anything, to suggest that he's waiting for them to come back still. And then we're left with the appearance of what the guild really looks like now, and it looks like a piece of shit. It's really bad. And the people who are there are, it's basically, let's just be honest here, the people who are okay wizards, but they're not as great as Natsu, Urza, and the others were. And, you've got Jet, I just told you Bisca. Makio I just told you about, right? He's the fucking master. It's amazing. It's really astonishing of that magnitude of that's what occurred. And basically, they're all, doing the same shit, talking, and hey, one guy's call me Maki was telling him, call me master, and then as it goes along, it's really bullshit talking, and then there's this one scene where they're talking about Levy, and everyone's got like a shocked look on their face, and Levy's not coming back. That's the way they were looking. And the guy who, the guy who drew, the wizard that drew drawings, he's skinny now. So anyway, what happens is, this other guild, the new guild, Magnolia, shows up, and they say, oh, you have to pay us. And they go on and insult them. They're saying, you're really a pathetic guild, Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail sucks. Blah, blah, blah. And they're making fun of them. Then they start beating up on Makio. And they tore the place apart. And the kicker scene is when that wizard, the guy who does drawings, he had a sketchbook. It falls on the floor. And you see a drawing of Makarov. I can't say his name correct. Sorry if I'm misspelling. Makarov. See a picture of him. You see a picture of, Urza, Lucy, Jajil, Natsu, everybody. Mira, Elfman, Laxus, Freed, everybody. Lisa Anna, and Gray. And everyone starts to cry. And then you get a scene also with and then the further conversation was back there, remembering it, saying that it was totally annihilated, and that one person mentioned that dragon destroyed an entire country. And I forgot the dragon's name, Artonologia? I can't say its name correctly. So anyway, it goes on the chapter with Romeo and Bisca and the other guy walking through town. And they don't really say much. But then the kicker happens when, and Makio says, oh, that ever since that day, I haven't seen my son Romeo smile once. And then the other guy, because the other guild's name that's in the town is called, I believe it was called Twilight, Ogre. Twilight Ogre, and one of the guys saying maybe it's time to close up shop because obviously we're not, And he says, I've never seen my son smile even once since that day. That was the kicker. And then at the darkest time of Fairy Tail, as dark as it seems and as terrible as it seems, Blue Pegasus shows up in the Christiana, and You know that guy, Ichiya? Man! He just jumps down. Man! And, his wizard team jumps in, and they're telling them that in the archives of the Christiana, we found a nano something around the island, around the area. And long story short, what does Ichiya tell him? Tenro Island, the island they were on, still exists. And it just ends with, there's still hope, or something like that. And that's how it went. For this chapter, I'm going to start reading now for Fairy Tail. I didn't do it, I think I did it last week, I'm not sure. But I'm going to give this 3, not 3.5. I still think Fairy Tail needs some work. Fairy Tail needs some work. 3 out of 5. Fairy Tail logos. But I will say this. The fact that there's still a lot, the island is still there, and the fact that can only mean one thing. That little girl with the wings on her head, she fucking transported the entire island. That to me is amazing. I don't care how. I'm just impressed about that. The whole fucking island got transported. Now, I'm going to throw in a prediction. This would be so fucking sweet if Hiro did this. But very complicated if he pulls it off. And what do I mean? Well, here's the scoop. What if they're transported to a place in another dimension where the dragons exist, and Matsu finally meets him? Igneel. Now, I know it's a stretch because I'm pretty sure that's what happened. The island was transported to some other place at the nick of time before that dragon destroyed the island. Of course, we'll probably find out in the next week what's going to happen. But it would be interesting to see if Hiro pulls that off. If we finally get those 3 Dragon Slayers to meet their quote-unquote masters. You know. I mean, Grenadine, Metallic, whatever his name was, and Igneel. Because if they show up at a place that does that, it could spark something. I mean, to a degree. Now, what's probably though going to happen, I think, for next week is they're going to take Fairy Tail, the Fairy Tail members, and they're going to take them to find Tenro Island, wherever it is. I tell you right now, if they get them back, they bring them back, then that Twilight Ogre, yeah, it's gonna be fucking destroyed. So go crazy on that. And that's pretty much what I think could happen. It's a long stretch though. Oh, by the way, Ultra Saiyan? You want to know what Darker Than Black's about? Okay. The premise of Darker Than Black, just to, you know what, I'll do it in another video. We're doing one more video on this. But anyway, that's the story for Fairy Tail. I like the chapter. I like what's happening here. Need to see more. I will agree on one thing. Maybe I was a little overreactive last week. Fairy Tail is nowhere near where... I'm going to ask him, though. Seeing as how I'm going to see him at Anime Festival, Hiro Mashima. I'm going to ask him. Could your show, Fairy Tail, at one time, eventually in the future, compete with Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece? I just want to know the answer to that. Could be interesting. But anyway, this has been Bonkai922. Fairy Tail was a good chapter, and I'm glad they're not dead. So, see you guys later.